Hi, this is Steve with Coin Stuff I Like. We're bringing you part two of this series on the Carson City stuff I like. This time I'm going to cover some of the resources that I use and add to some of the excitement or allure of collecting Carson City coinage and related items. So I'm going to go through a few resources, but first let me explain why a number of different resources. Um, with the Carson City coinage, um, it's nice to know the mintage. You know, you can get that from Redbook and PCGS population report, NGC population report. Will all report the mintage, um, but you also with Carson City, not there's not as many surviving. There's meltage. There's trade dollars going to China. There's people. There's probably places where there's buried silver dollars. The bottom line is that the survival gives you a better idea of how many are really out there and how special what you have might be. And then you go another step of the ones surviving. What's the die variety? What is it? What's the die pair? When you narrow it down to a single die pair, it even tightens that number of how many different examples of this specific coin are out there. And then of course, looking at a graded population if you're collecting graded coins. Let me give you an example of this process. So, and I'll use the 1873 Carson City trade dollar that's in my collection as an example. And easy enough to find that there's 124,500 of these minted back in 1873. But the survival rate is only about 750 to 1,000. If you go to CoinFacts, PCGS CoinFacts, they're saying it's maybe only 500. This comes from a book that I use, a reference book by Rusty Go, and I'm gonna show that. I'll do that as I get into this video just a little bit more. But anyway, just an example. 750 to 1,000 still survive of that original mintage, and that's less than 1% of the original mintage. About maybe six tenths of a percent to 8 tenths of a percent. But then as you get down to die variety and you go to PCGS CoinFacts, they'll let you know that there's an estimated 1,500 or 15,500 coins produced per die pair back when they first minted this lot right here. But if you use this survival rate, that means there's only about 155 examples from each die pair, maybe about 155. The other thing that pertains to particularly the trade dollars is that these are sent to China for trade purposes, and again in CoinFacts, PCGS CoinFacts, they'll say that the first 2,580 coins were distributed locally back in July 23rd, 1873. Pretty much the entire rest of the mintage was shipped to China. So when they get to China and they're using transaction, they're chop marked. So really, the example that I have has no chop marks whatsoever. So that means there's a possibility that this was amongst that first 2,580 coins released locally because it never made it Asia to get chop marked. So, um, this by investigating this, we learn a little bit more about how rare or how precious the particular coin that we have happens to be. And then if you go to the graded population, whether you're going to PCGS or NGC or Annex, I use PCGS for this example. There's only 367 of this total mintage that were graded by PCGS. Only 367. And keep in mind that some of those may have been crossed to NGC and what have you. So the actual number that are still in PCGS holders may be slightly less than this. So that's why you use your resources to go from basic red book or basic basic resources to books and other details like coin facts to give you the survival rate, to specialty sites and specialty books on the series that gives you a little bit more information, and then graded population. Now, I'm going to take this one step further. When I got this coin, I went down through these steps, and it was originally it was a details AU details coin in a PCGS holder. But as I looked at it and really examined for die variety, I found that it was misplaced date FS 301. You can see the seven, the other 7 is down in the denticles down here on this coin. And so I sent it back to get attributed, and now we can say, okay, the mintage, there's a survival rate, which we knew, and we knew this sort of thing, but the graded population, there's only 5 straight graded by PCGS. PCGS does not report their details population. Unfortunately, it's much to my chagrin. But it's at least there's at least 6 of these that are graded by PCGS. Only 6, and it's in high likelihood, because this has no chop marks, that this was not only does it have this variety, it was among the first 2,580 coins distributed that year. So this is what I like. I like really going down the rabbit hole on a particular coin to really learn how special it is. So I'm going to just skim over some of the resources that I use. I'm going to point out some books. And I mentioned Red Book before. I'm not going to show that to you. Pretty much everybody has a Red Book or should have a Red Book. PCGS Coin Facts, the population report, and of course NGC has a population report, and Annex has a population report. And then online there are series and mint mark specific references. So the references just for Seated Liberty $50, or Seated Liberty dollars, or Seated Liberty dimes, or Morgans for the VAMs, or the trade dollar series and mint mark. So let's take a little bit closer of those, look at those, and let me list them out for you. So this is the one of my main reference books. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic book. Author is Rusty Go. I'm using the Amazon site to show it to you. And it's published in 2003. Fantastic information in that book. As I was preparing for this video and went to Amazon, I entered Rusty Go into the search bar, and I realize now that Rusty Go has also come up with a subsequent book that's more expensive, and it's 3 volumes. it's a huge resource that goes into a lot of the history, a lot of the stories, as well as the details of each denomination, each mintage from Carson City Mint. So, so this is likely a great book. I can't personally tell you details of what I've learned from it, but this book over here, the Mint at on Carson Street by Rusty Go, to me that's a must-have. You can get it for just over $100 in paperback. It's a pretty thick volume, by the way. So those are the. This is the book I primarily will look at, and then of course there's this book which is more recent by the same author. I'll use the Coinfax as well. Coinfax, PCGS Coinfax will look like this. You scroll down, and since I already used the example of the trade dollar, I'll scroll down to trade dollar, click on that, and then from here I'll scroll down, and they've got a list. They've got more information about those, but I'll go to this 1873 trade dollar, and you scroll down. It'll have your survival estimates. This is what I was saying earlier, that the survival estimate for 1873 Carson City trade dollar is 500 in all grades. That's this source. Rusty Go says 750 to 1,000 in his book. And then it gives more narratives from various other resources. So a very handy thing to go deep into understanding your specific Carson City piece. The next one is the pop report. And I'm going to go back again, and so we'll go to the United States pop report, scroll down, and whether you're looking at a Carson City dime or 20-cent piece or half or dollar, I'll just click on this trade dollar once again. And 1873 trade dollar, there's the pop, 367 for all types. But you click on this little plus here, and it'll tell you that they attribute FS 301, and that they have 5 of them graded. If you want to go to the comprehensive report, there's a comprehensive report. And it'll give you all the details for that. And if you click on that, it'll tell you further that there's 1 AU58, 2 AU50s, and 2 AU40s graded by PCGS of that FS 301. Again, they don't put their details into their detail graded coins into their pop report. So I can't tell you what the true total is, but it's probably not much higher than this. And if you remember, mine was an AU detail, so it puts it in this category. So that's another thing I'll reference, and you could also click on the coin number, of course, and there's the regular strike, and you get into back to the Coinfax, and you can click on those and see more information. So whether it's rarity survival estimates, condition census, the narratives that I showed you, all you had to do was click on that little link here, and it'll link you to that Coinfax. Now, let's go into some of the series and mint mark specific online references. This one is the one I use for Liberty seeded dollar varieties. If you want to go date by date analysis, You can scroll down, and there we go, 1870 cc. That's the first silver dollar minted by Carson City Mint. It's going to tell you the die numbering, die identification, mintage figures. And here's one thing I really like about this one. It's going to give you emission sequence, meaning they've sort of done a little bit of homework, a little bit of guesswork, and you get your die marriage, you identify your die marriage, and you can find out when it came off of production. So this OC-9 die marriage probably was the first that was produced. So it'd be nice to know if you had the first produced first production run of the 1870 Carson City Seed of Liberty dollar, the first Seed of Liberty dollar. So good resource for the Seeded Liberty dollars. Trade dollars, I use this one. By the way, I'm going to put all these links in the description of this video. So you can go to trade dollars and investigate varieties. Again, they give detailed pictures, and you could identify the die variety and the die pair specifically. By the way, here was that FS 301, and there's the 7 in the denticles. I like my pictures better, or my picture. What the mint mark looks like, so you can identify down to the die. VAMs, if you're looking for Carson City VAM, that's for all the Morgans. There you go. You click on it, and it'll list all the VAMs. You click on that, and you'll try to identify your particular die variety. This site is a fantastic site, and it's by Gary Fortin, and it's Seed of Liberty dimes, and it's very, very good. But also, Gary has also listed on the site some other resources. For example, Seed of Liberty halves, this PDF, which goes into the details of all of those. The 20-cent piece, and also the dimes. Did I have that reverse? Yeah. It's quarters. That was quarters, and then also 20-cent pieces. So the bottom line is you can go from book and general resources and some of the background all the way down to the specifics, and identifying whether it's your Seed of Liberty dimes, 20-cent pieces, quarters, halves, or your silver, Seed of Liberty dollars, trade dollars, or Morgan dollars. When you do that and have these resources, you're going to, I think, at least for me, you're going to get greater enjoyment from your collection. So there you have it. There's the resources that I typically will look into as I purchase a new coin and add it to my collection, whether it's raw or graded. And thanks for watching. I promise next time I'll actually start showing the series in part 3. Thank you for watching. Remember, be smart about what you buy, but definitely buy stuff you like.